Harold the Helicopter. Percy was delivering freight trucks of stone to the harbour. At the airfield nearby, there was a helicopter buzzing loudly as it waited to land. "Loud buzzy thing," said Percy to his driver. "I wish it would go and buzz somewhere else." The next day, Percy made the delivery to the airfield. He stopped next to the helicopter. "Hello," said Percy. "My name's Percy. Who are you?" "I'm Harold," said the helicopter. "With my whirling propeller, I can fly like a bird. Don't you wish you had a propeller too?" "No, I like having my wheels on the rails," replied Percy grumpily. "You engines are much too slow," Harold continued. "With my propeller, I can go much faster than any of you." Percy was cross, but before he could reply, Harold flew away. Percy puffed angrily to the quarry to pick up his next load of trucks. "Hello, Percy," said Toby. "You look cross. What's the matter?" Percy told Toby what Harold had said about helicopters being faster than engines. "I'll show him he's wrong," said Percy firmly. As Percy puffed back to the harbour, he heard a familiar buzzing noise ahead of him. "Look, Percy," said his driver. "There's Harold. Let's race him. Then he'll see who's the fastest." "Yes, we'll show him wheels are better than those funny whirling arms," said Percy, and he rushed after Harold. Harold heard Percy speeding up behind him. He realised that Percy was racing him to the harbour. "You'll never beat me," he said proudly. "I will have landed at the airfield before you can stop at the harbour wharf." "Don't listen to him," said Percy's driver. "We can win this." The race was on. Harold thought a little engine pulling heavy trucks full of stone could never beat him. But suddenly he saw that Percy was drawing level with him. A few minutes later, Percy's driver shouted, "We're in the lead, Percy!" Percy was having the time of his life, racing along faster than he had ever gone before. "Beep, beep! Goodbye, Harold!" he shouted as he raced ahead. Harold looked down in surprise. He couldn't believe Percy was beating him. Harold charged after him. Percy's fireman was shoveling coal into the furnace as fast as he could. He wiped a cloth across his hot face. "Phew," he said. "This is hard work. I hope we do beat Harold." Then he heard the signal that warned them the harbour wharf was nearby. "Nearly there," cried Percy's driver. "I hope we've done enough to win." Percy braked as he approached the wharf. He rolled under the main line and halted at the buffers, puffing loudly. "Did we win?" he said breathlessly. His fireman scrambled onto the cab roof and looked at the airfield. "We've won!" he gasped. "Harold's still looking for a place to land." Percy smiled. He had shown Harold that engines are just as fast as helicopters. Later, Harold looked embarrassed when Percy made the delivery at the airfield. Percy's driver and fireman sang a song. Said Harold Helicopter to our Percy, you are much too slow, your railway is out of date, and not much use you know. But Percy with his stone cars did the trip in record time, and we beat Harold the Helicopter on our old branch line. Harold smiled at Percy as he flew over him. You showed me that you can go even faster than me, he said. I guess wheels are as good as a propeller after all. Percy smiled happily. What fun it had been, racing against Harold. He couldn't wait to get back to the engine shed and tell the others all about it. The end. Thomas and the Piglets. Jeremy the jet plane. Thomas the tank engine loves having buffers that bump and a boiler that bubbles. He loves having wheels that whiz round and round and a whistle that he can peep. But most of all, Thomas loves working on the Fat Controller's railway. It was the day of the Sodor summer picnic. The Fat Controller came with news of a special job for Thomas. You are to pick up the children from the airport and take them to the picnic, he boomed cheerfully. Thomas was excited. Yes, sir, he whistled and set off at once. The airport was new, and all the engines wanted to go there. Thomas had just arrived when he heard a loud noise in the sky. Whoosh! A jet plane was coming in to land. Thomas chuffed over to the big hangar. Hello, he peeped. I'm Thomas, and I'm a tank engine. Hello, said the plane. I'm Jeremy, and I'm a jet plane. Flying is the most fun in the world. I can see the whole island at once, he said. Thomas thought Jeremy was being boastful. Well, I like travelling on tracks, he huffed. Thomas puffed sadly away. I never want to talk to a jet plane again, he grumbled. He cheered up, though, when he saw the children waiting on the platform. The Fat Controller and Lady Hat were there too, with a large picnic basket full of delicious things to eat. The guard loaded the hamper into Clarabelle. Thomas set off for the picnic, but soon had to stop at a signal. He heard Jeremy taking off. Whoosh! Then Jeremy flew right over his funnel. It's not fair, puffed Thomas. Jet planes don't have to stop at signals. At the picnic, everyone was soon having a jolly time. Everyone except Thomas. Percy saw that he looked sad. "What's wrong, Thomas?" he asked. "Jet planes can go wherever they like. I wish I were a jet plane," chuffed Thomas. "But engines can pull coaches and take children to picnics," peeped Percy. "Engines are really useful." Thomas wasn't so sure. Jeremy was jetting to the mainland when dark rain clouds were gathering. Jeremy had to return to the airport. Thomas was passing as Jeremy came into land. Thomas didn't want to talk to him. "Thomas," Jeremy called out, "a summer storm is on its way. The picnic will be ruined." "Cinders and ashes," gasped Thomas. "I must tell the Fat Controller." Thomas steamed through tunnels and whizzed around bends. He reached the picnic just as the first drops of rain began to fall. "Quickly," he whooshed. "A big storm is coming. The picnic will be washed away." Everyone helped pack up the picnic basket and boarded Annie and Clarabelle. The children were sad that the picnic was over. Then Thomas had an idea. He steamed to the airport as fast as his wheels would carry him. Jeremy was inside, keeping nice and dry in his big hangar. "Can the children please have their picnic here in your hangar?" asked Thomas. "Of course," said Jeremy. "What a splendid idea!" Thomas was very happy. Soon all the children were feeling jolly again, and so was the Fat Controller. "Well done, Thomas and Jeremy," he boomed. "Together you have saved the picnic. You are both really useful." Jeremy was happy to have helped, and Thomas had never felt prouder to be a tank engine. Now, whenever Thomas sees Jeremy flying high above him in the sky, he always whistles, "Beep, beep." And Jeremy likes nothing better than looking out for Thomas, steaming along his branch line on the island of Sodor.